Welcome to this third edition of BIM Talks. Our goal at Excelize has been to introduce interesting people who are doing a lot of work in the BIM space. And one of my guests today, Clive, is one such person. A very, very brief introduction of Clive would be that he's a civil engineer turned contractor, architect, owner, and now the co-founder at his second BIM AEC startup called Planoly. Planoly is the BIM management platform is essentially about BIM management by consolidating standards, planning, modeling requirements, project tracking, and BIM compliance workflows. Since 2017, Clive has been the co-founder and CEO of Planoly. Before that, he has had multiple roles in the AECO industry, starting off as Vice President Project Integration at Irvine Company prior to Planoly. Before that, the Regional Manager, West Coast at Trimble, which acquired his previous company, AECO, where he was the 5D Project Manager. And prior to that, he was the 5D project manager at Graphisoft. So Clive, congratulations, a very illustrious career in this industry. And I'm really excited to talk to you today and hear your thoughts and views about BIM, about what Planoly is doing and how you think this industry is going to move ahead.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to it.
So why don't we begin today with when and how was Planoly conceptualized?
Started 20 years ago and has been a burning desire for that period for a lot of people. Our industry has always been very silo based, and it hasn't been adopting or running towards technology. And so it needs a simple project management approach. And that's something that we've been trying to do for a long time, but that's where we formed Planoly from. And that has been something of a mashup of a lot of people's ideas over the last 20 years. And that really started from a small team at Graphisoft that then went through AECO, as you said, Trimble, a lot of input from a lot of people around the world, a lot of Autodesk people inside of that as well. And it's culminated in the last 5 years of us saying, how do we simplify? How do we integrate? And how do we make it actually enjoyable to plan a project? And the tagline, or the very subtle play on the name there, planning early. So plan early for something to make it easier.
So, what I loved about when I first saw the Planoly software was of course, the ability to create a BEP, the ability that you put in there to show customers what are the level of details in a model. Because I think there's a lot of confusion about all of that. And the third thing that really made a lot of sense for me was, as an engineer, when I was looking at Revit and the adoption of it, the ability to be able to go and say that this particular task has been done and this is how it looks in the model, because the model is going to get very complex for a period of time. And that ability to visually do a QA/QC, I think that was something that was really exciting for me as an engineer, as somebody who liked to adopt BIM.
So those three parts that you mentioned there, the first one, a document, usually in Word or a PDF somewhere. The second one was usually a spreadsheet detailing out what the scope should be. And the third one was usually a set of models all around in lots of different places. And yeah, I mean, it does seem obvious, but putting all of those three into the same platform to make sure that whatever you're planning, you can then manage and you can verify in that same connected workflow. It seems like an obvious thing to do, but we traditionally have been using many different tools to do that. And yeah, I mean, let me share my screen and I'll maybe show something on that. And this is kind of like the backbone or the reasons behind. So if I put this into the large screen, we've got great tools for building models. We've got amazing tools for analyzing what's in models. And we've got great tools as well for using them when we've got them in the output at the end of the day. But these are the tools that we've traditionally used to plan and manage that process. And they're business management tools. They're not BIM management. They're not information management. They're not integrated with the workflow. So using a Word document to create a BIM execution plan that then gets PDF that's sent on an email, and we've got tasks in spreadsheets. We've got different tools to manage Gantt chart-based planning and timelines and understanding progress and managing and submitting files and uploading them somewhere, combining them. And it really just that disintegration or the disruption between each of those becomes lots of individual silos, and they're generally disconnected from the workflows that we are using in information management in BIM. And so we just said, what happens if you take all the best parts of all of those things and put them into one place, make it more integrated, make it more efficient, make it more connected. And we think as the world moves towards more digital, we should be having products to simplify and to make it easier and to be cloud first and more efficient in that process.
Absolutely. And I think that's a thing that when we first started using Planoly at Excelize, that's the thing that really attracted me. That here was a tool that just helped us and our clients be more collaborative, be on the same page, and we could do a much better job for them. So I want to move ahead and have your thoughts on a few things about, we've already spoken about what Planoly is doing for the process integration and expediting construction projects. But let's talk about what is your view on some of the new technologies that you think will become more relevant in the years to come. I know BIM is the foundational technology for many of the AR, VR, or all the other kind of things that are coming up, even 3D printing. But what do you think are some of the, and I know sometimes people hate trying to predict the future, but hey, we're here and let's talk about it.
So without saying all of those buzzwords, digital twin and understanding AR, VR, MR, all of that good stuff, I think anything that helps communication. Our industry is so, as I mentioned, silo-based, so contractual, and so disjointed. So many different companies come together to build a project, and they disband and go and form again a set of companies to build another project. And there's so much opportunity that we have to connect the dots that it essentially would help communicate and also retain some of that understanding, that knowledge. And so communication inside of a project, any technology that can help with that. And that could be some kind of VR experience for the owner to understand what they're going to get before they go and build it. But anything that helps communication. And I think that it's communication from an information management perspective, from a database driven. So understanding that data is not just a file somewhere that can't be reused and can't be improved. So in data, information, and managing the flow of that in a communication tool, in a platform. So Planoly, that's what we do. We try to enable teams to have a data driven information management flow that then is defined on one project, but reused as templates and continually improved for other projects. And that's really the principle. So any technology that helps to communicate and integrate our industry is really what's going to happen and what's going to thrive. Digital twins, you want my opinion on digital twins? They are, for specific use cases, they are wonderful, they are amazing. But unfortunately, a lot of the time, an owner is accepting the need for a digital twin without actually understanding what the use case is.
I absolutely couldn't agree more with you. We've had customers who have been asking us to price into the project doing digital twins, and we've been trying to convince them that, are you sure you understand what digital twins are and what is required of you to really integrate and build a effective digital twin? I think that's the same thing with AR, VR to a certain level. Those are nice to have technologies. They look pretty, but I think those are things that we will have to convince owners about the benefits of them and show them real use cases of them. And
yeah,
that's when they'll become.
I think, with a plug for Planoly is every deliverable must have a customer and be planned in a milestone on the scope, so that we know exactly what is going into that AR, VR experience from a model element perspective. Do we have to have the materials for certain elements, etc.? And then on an asset model or a digital twin that's handed over, what's the scope? and that should be a milestone inside of the scope, inside of Planoly. And it says, this is exactly what's going to happen. What detailed geometry, what information, what requirements from a visualization perspective, from a data perspective, from a connectivity perspective, who should do that, at what stage in the project should it be done,
Right.
and contracting for it so that it actually gets done, and then verifying that you've accepted what has been delivered. So there's a series of events that happens for every single project. It doesn't matter what that essentially the deliverable is, but if you define it early and you're able to say, this is what I want in my digital twin, it's a lot more likely that you're going to get benefit from it, and the customer is going to be happy, and they're going to order from you the next time, whether they're going to contract with you to build a project or to be a consultant and working with them to help them implement BIM.
Wonderful. I think you have kind of captured a lot of the issues, and let me put it as the positives that technology can deliver. And we really need to figure out how best we can leverage this tool and this wonderful technology to do a much better job. When you were talking about how the industry is changing in this process, so I wanted a question that popped to me is, and again, I don't want to put you in a spot here, but if we were to really effectively use building information modeling and the various new technology platforms that are coming up, would you say that in about 10 years' time, this industry could have the same productivity growths and gains like the mechanical engine manufacturing industry or the other industries have managed to do? Because one of the criticisms of the AECO industry has been that it has been slow to adopt technology, and its productivity gains have lagged other sectors.
It needs incentive. So in order for us to get there, it's not a technology barrier. It's not really a people barrier, although there are a lot of people set in their ways. And the challenge is that we are on, unfortunately, a contractual battle all of the time. And the way that our projects are set up, it's not like a process for a mechanical engineer or creating a product. It's a lot different. A building has many locations, many teams working through each of those locations over a sequence of a period of time, and it's not repeated in exactly the same way the next time. It's not, you build a phone, you build the iPhone, and it's going to be built by a team that is then repeated. So you productize and you go through that process many, many times. What we're doing,
all the investment you make in that, getting it right the first time, pays off.
Yeah, so using BIM enables us to build it virtually before we go and build it in the real world. We can find the problems. We all know that drill. There's so many benefits to using BIM. Enabling the teams on the construction side to be more efficient, understanding the sequence of flow, understanding that two trades can't build something in the same location at the same time. So location-based scheduling, and driven from efficiency and productivity, quantities from the model, cash flows predicted based on the quantities from the model. All of that is great stuff. It doesn't break down the barriers of contractual and the fact that we've got these memes that show the original contract as the name of the small dinghy, and then the change order as the huge yacht that has been purchased because of the changes. So what we need to do is incentivize so that the efficiency and the productivity is connected in a contractual way. And that's actually something from Planoly's perspective. What we're trying to do is you'll see in the future, and maybe talking kind of way too openly. I'm sure nobody's going to watch this, but Planoly payments.
You'd be surprised.
Planoly payments, so micro payments for activities that are verified, will help to incentivize that work that is contracted actually gets done in the time frame that it is being promised. So that's something to look forward to.
That's something definitely to look forward to. So I want to end the conversation here. We had a time constraint, and my timer has just gone off for the 15 minutes time frame. So thank you again, Clive, for being here with us. I appreciate it. I am in awe of what you have managed to achieve with the Planoly software tool. I look forward to using it more effectively and look forward to some of the new features. And I definitely look forward to another conversation in a couple of months about what is the new thing that is there in Planoly. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.